Daniel Ricciardo, at 34, has had a tough start to the 2024 season, becoming a major talking point in Formula One. The Australian driver's return to the Red Bull's second team, now known as Visa Cash App RB, was anticipated as the first step towards a triumphant comeback to the reigning world champions. However, this fairy-tale narrative seems to have faded quickly within just 3 races, raising questions about Ricciardo's tenure at RB throughout the season. The situation becomes even more apparent when compared to the performance of his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda, often overlooked in the other car. This begs the question, will Ricciardo face an early exit from RB? And what does Tsunoda need to do to be promoted to the main team? An article from the New Zealand Herald, right after the Australian Grand Prix, suggested that Ricciardo had been given a 2-race ultimatum to improve, or else Kiwi driver Liam Lawson could replace him at the Miami Grand Prix. Lawson impressed in his 5 appearances as Ricciardo's substitute last year, securing a 9th-place finish in Singapore. While sources close to Ricciardo and others at Red Bull deny the ultimatum, speculations about a possible early departure are premature. However, such stories in the press are common when it comes to Red Bull. The team often uses such rumors to motivate underperforming drivers. Ricciardo's performance is already being openly discussed by members of both teams. Ricciardo's lack of pace was poorly timed, with Ferrari's Carlos Sainz securing a sensational victory in Australia and Red Bull team principal Christian Horner suggesting later that the former Toro Rosso driver could join Red Bull in 2025. ESPN sources familiar with the situation indicated that this scenario is on the table. In the same media session where he talked about Sainz, Horner was asked by ESPN if Ricciardo was squandering his chance to make that decision. "I think it's still too early to think about next year," Horner replied. "He's a grown man and he'll bounce back, but sometimes an F1 driver can feel a bit lonely, so a bit of encouragement is never a bad thing." Horner has always supported Ricciardo. He joked that he almost crashed the car in August 2018 when Ricciardo called to say he was switching from Red Bull to Renault in 2019, and he particularly stated that the Australian nearly ruined his career by deciding to leave. Ricciardo was highly respected by the late Red Bull co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz, while sources told ESPN that Horner believes Ricciardo and Max Verstappen could have remained teammates to this day if he hadn't left. Horner was surprised by Ricciardo's struggles at McLaren and felt that a return to Red Bull's broader program could make the most of the 8-time race winner. This belief remains, but sources also told ESPN in Melbourne that Horner will not blindly stick to it if there is not a clear turnaround soon. Ricciardo's victory for McLaren in the 2021 Italian Grand Prix and his strong performance in last year's Mexican Grand Prix are clear reminders of what he is capable of in his prime, but pointing to some historical results only goes so far in the cruel world of F1. During the same interview where he mentioned Sainz, Horner was approached by ESPN about Ricciardo's situation. "It's premature to think about next year," Horner replied. "He's experienced enough to bounce back, but sometimes Formula One drivers can feel isolated, so a little support never hurts." Horner has always backed Ricciardo. He recalled an occasion in August 2018 when he nearly crashed his car upon receiving Ricciardo's call announcing his move to Renault in 2019. Horner emphasized that the decision to leave almost derailed the Australian's career. Ricciardo was highly respected by Dietrich Mateschitz, Red Bull's co-founder, and Horner believed that he and Max Verstappen could have continued as teammates if Ricciardo hadn't left. Horner was surprised by Ricciardo's troubles at McLaren and felt that a return to Red Bull could unlock the full potential of the 8-time race winner. However, sources in Melbourne told ESPN that Horner would not maintain a rigid stance if there wasn't a significant improvement soon. Although Ricciardo's victory at the 2021 Italian Grand Prix and his strong performance at the previous year's Mexican Grand Prix are positive memories, past success doesn't always guarantee future results in the competitive world of Formula One.